Many people don't realize how fast Social Security can flag an SSI case for review. It can happen because of a tiny deposit, a small transfer, or a balance that crossed a limit for just one day. In fact, one viewer recently shared that a simple refund, money that wasn't even income, caused the SSI system to freeze their payment and send a warning letter. So today we're breaking down exactly how to protect your SSI check from bank account mistakes that millions accidentally make. If you rely on SSI for rent, groceries, medication, or daily living, this video could save you from an overpayment notice or a suspension. And before we go deeper, if you have any SSI questions, drop them in the comments. I reply to as many viewers as I can. Also, please like and subscribe to Social Security Post so you don't miss urgent SSI updates. This guide is not just educational, it's a shield. SSI rules are strict, and the system will not warn you before a deposit triggers an investigation. The goal of this video is to give you clear, step-by-step knowledge so you avoid the most common traps that cause overpayments. We'll cover asset limits, safe deposits, red flag transactions, transfers, gifts, reimbursements, and what to do if you're already under review. Let's begin. The most important rule every SSI recipient must understand is the resource limit. SSI has a strict cap. Individuals are allowed only a certain amount in countable resources at any time. This includes money in checking, savings, cash on hand, and any other liquid assets. What many people don't realize is that the limit applies every single day of the month. Even if the balance goes above the allowed amount for one day, Social Security can classify you as over-resources and potentially suspend the check. Many seniors think, I spent it the next day, so I'm fine. But the system doesn't work that way. A one-day violation can trigger months of problems. The reason SSI pays so much attention to bank balances is because the program is designed for extremely low-resource households. So when the system notices a balance that climbs too high, even briefly, it assumes that the person may no longer qualify. What makes this dangerous is that beneficiaries often have legitimate reasons for temporary high balances, such as refunds, insurance payments, tax returns, borrowing money, or receiving financial help from family. But unless it falls under SSI-approved exclusions, it can still count against your limit. That's why later sections will show you exactly which transactions are safe, which ones are red flags, and how to document everything in case you ever face a review. One of the biggest causes of SSI overpayments is deposits that appear to be income, even though the person did not earn a single dollar. SSI systems automatically scan for activity that resembles income, cash deposits, Zelle transfers, Venmo payments, refunds, reimbursements, or money from friends and family. The system doesn't know the reason, it only sees money coming in. That's why so many people get surprised by letters saying, "We adjusted your benefits due to unreported income," even when the money wasn't income at all. The burden falls on the beneficiary to explain and document the source. Examples of safe deposits that often still trigger confusion include tax refunds, insurance reimbursements, returned security deposits, refunded purchases, or family members temporarily paying a bill. Although many of these are technically excluded from income, SSI may still count them as resources if they remain in your account. Worse, if the deposit exceeds the limit, even briefly, it can trigger a suspension. This is why understanding the difference between income exclusions and resource limits is critical. In the next section, we'll discuss how to keep documentation so that if SSI questions your deposit, you can prove exactly what happened. Proper documentation is your strongest protection. If SSI ever reviews your account, and reviews can happen during redeterminations, random audits, or automated alerts, you must be able to show not only what the deposit was, but why it entered your account. That means saving receipts, screenshots, bank statements, and written explanations from the company or individual who sent the money. For reimbursements, it helps to keep proof of the original expense. For refunds, keep receipts or cancellation confirmations. For gifts from family, have a written note explaining if it was intended as a loan, repayment, or support. Documentation also helps you protect yourself from incorrect overpayments. Sometimes SSA flags a deposit as income, automatically reduces your benefit, and only reverses the decision if you provide proof. Many beneficiaries don't know they have the right to challenge these decisions or that they can request a reconsideration or waiver if the issue leads to an overpayment. Having records makes the process faster and reduces stress. Try to save documentation digitally so it doesn't fade or get lost. Screenshots and photos work perfectly. Later in this video, we'll discuss how long to keep records and what to do if SSI asks for information from months back. Many people believe that transferring money between checking and savings is harmless. And while this should be safe, SSI systems sometimes misinterpret frequent transfers as potential income or support from others. What matters most is that the money belongs to you and does not increase your total resources beyond the limit. If you transfer funds from one personal account to another, the amount doesn't count as income. But if the total resources exceed the limit at any moment, SSI may still issue a warning. Where people get into trouble is when money is transferred from someone else's account into theirs. Even if that person claims it's a loan, SSI may treat it as income unless it is clearly documented. And if a family member pays your landlord or utility company directly, some of those payments may be considered in-kind support, which can reduce your SSI. These rules are complicated, and the consequences can be serious. That's why we need to understand which types of transfers are harmless, which are questionable, and which must be avoided unless documented carefully. We'll break that down step by step in the next section. Nothing triggers SSI faster than in-kind support and maintenance, ISM. This means someone helping you with food or shelter. If a family member pays part of your rent, provides free housing, or buys groceries for you regularly, SSI may reduce your check. Many people don't know this and accidentally accept help that causes their benefit to drop by up to 1/3. Even worse, if the help is irregular but undocumented, SSI may treat it as income depending on how the support was provided. This does not mean you cannot receive help, but it does mean you must structure help correctly. If a family member lends you money with a plan for repayment, even small repayments, that can protect your SSI as long as the loan terms are documented. If someone pays a bill for you, that support may or may not be counted based on what type of expense it is. For example, paying medical bills usually does not reduce SSI, but paying rent or utilities often does. Understanding the difference is critical. Later in this video, we'll talk about how to receive help safely and legally without risking a reduction or overpayment. If SSI sends you a letter about your bank activity, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Many letters only ask for clarification. Others notify you that SSI is recalculating your benefit. When this happens, your first step is to gather bank statements, receipts, and documentation showing where the money came from. In many cases, once SSI understands the transaction, they reverse the adjustment. However, if they believe an overpayment occurred, you still have options. You can request a reconsideration or even a waiver if the situation wasn't your fault, and repayment would cause financial hardship. Act quickly. If you ignore the letter, SSI may suspend your benefits until you cooperate. If SSI claims you owe money, you have the right to challenge the amount, request a payment plan, or argue that the overpayment was due to SSI's error, not yours. Millions of seniors get overpayment notices every year that are later reduced or completely erased because beneficiaries use their appeal rights. You are not powerless, and you always have the right to request written explanations and corrections. Protecting your SSI isn't about fear, it's about being prepared. A single deposit can trigger questions, but with the right knowledge and documentation, you can keep your benefits safe and avoid unnecessary stress. If you found this guide helpful, please like and subscribe to Social Security Post. It truly helps the channel reach more SSI recipients who need accurate information. And please ask your questions in the comments. I'm here to help you understand your benefits and keep your monthly check protected.